Hello everyone, welcome back to GU Talks, our official Greenwich University's alumni podcast where we invite the brightest minds that have once walked down these halls. Today, I have someone spectacular who's done numerous jobs from a young age, a creative and brilliant mind, if I may say so myself. We have Miss Farah Agha, a business strategist who's worked in different industries and made a huge name, not just for herself, but for our universities as well. She's a business strategist and has worked in fashion, food security, and real estate. So please welcome Miss Farah Agha. It's lovely having you here.
It's a pleasure. And I don't know how to follow up with such an introduction.
No, you are worthy for that introduction, I must say. And before we take a deep dive into the questions, how are you today?
Absolutely fine.
And how has life been?
Alhamdulillah. It's been great. It's been great.
It's lovely knowing that. So let's take a deep dive into your time at Greenwich here. So when you were here, could you just give a brief about how your life was here and what's your favorite memory about Greenwich?
Well, I don't think it was a very nerdy memory. We used to be always running off to a cafe in the market called Tequila. And we would actually sit there and, in between classes, have our little gup-shup session and exchange not only notes, but also kya hua and the gossip. So that was, I think, the highlight. And when we joined Greenwich, boy, it was, I think, at a very high peak of Greenwich at that time. We had a foreign affiliation, and it was a bustling and happening campus. And I think it was one of the best universities at that time. And I think it has come leaps and bounds since then, and a lot has changed.
Most certainly. So if I may say, it's not just the Gen Z trend, as people call it, going to cafes, taking the tea. It's all been there. We just have the aesthetics for it, if I must.
Well, a little bit of change.
Yeah.
What I've noticed, even on my flight day before yesterday, we would enjoy our cup of Java, whatever you want to call it. I think we were more the coffee culture. You guys are more the matcha culture.
Yeah.
So that's progressed. And then we didn't document it as much. I was noticing the lady besides me, she took her chai with her boarding pass and, was making a little TikTok while I was sitting there. The other one was trying to make a selfie and put it on. And she was like, aap kyun nahi kar rahi? And I'm like, well, not my thing. I try not to tell people that I'm traveling because I'm old school. Nazar, ye wo. Just keep a low profile.
Absolutely understand.
Under the radar, do what needs to be done. But you guys are more into, I think, show and tell and want to be seen and want to be talked about. And the good thing was that if we goofed up, there was no social media footprint to hold us.
Yeah.
You guys are in more trouble later on in the years.
Absolutely.
So you guys have to be more careful.
Yeah, we get trolled for like the tiniest bit of thing that doesn't work well with the aesthetics.
Exactly. And imagine the goof-ups we've done. So if they were on camera, God help us.
Yeah, absolutely. Which leads me to my second question. So by the time you were finishing your studies here at Greenwich, what would you say is that one specific thing that you learned in your university life that has kept you going this far?
Okay, so I think it's also not just university life. It's something that I feel that you guys will also be already feeling the brunt of. It's great to be protected by we, unlike the Western culture, are protected by our families till much longer. But what I've realized is there is nothing constant but change. And life may, unfortunately, it's a wave. Utao chadao aate rehta hai.
Absolutely.
And what you guys need to brace yourselves, because you are more into instant gratification with your little tricky fingers. Patience is something that is required, and you need to learn to ride that wave. So masle, masail, problems, curveballs, as I like to call them, wo har kisi ki life mein aayenge. But you need to have that ability to ride the wave, especially in the downtime. And they will come. That's life. And the way you ride them and the way you swim back, like the phoenix that came to light again, is what will make the difference. That's what you have to concentrate on. How I have to reinvent myself when I'm down to be that phoenix. and that'll get through a lot. Trust me.
I think it's the most beautiful way of putting it, is to be able to adapt to the changes, because change is the only constant you'll ever get. And I think someone who's able to take those and make themselves current and stand out with the time is someone who can survive anything.
You don't have a choice. There are examples given, even your biggest brands. All of your big companies, your car manufacturers, one was a tractor manufacturer, then he modified to sports cars. There are so many examples that those businesses were set up with a typically different genre, and they have become big names even today after over 100 years, is because they transformed or they changed the business they were in. That is, sadly, and human beings, you've seen how technology changes, how things become obsolete, how certain softwares you learn. I don't even think now there's any sense of doing these full-fledged IT courses, because you do a 4-year program and you come back and it's all obsolete. So it's all changed. So the whole dynamics of the world we live in has totally evolved.
Another question that I feel like I was personally curious about was that when I was just reading about you, you were able to establish your own company at such a young age. And I wanted to know, was it because you come from a line of entrepreneurs? Was it because you wanted to really build something on your own and establish it as your own legacy?
So it's a combination. I come from a family which has been in business for 4 generations. We're steel background and shipbreaking background. Then I was involved with them in textile and real estate, and now we're setting up a food gluten-free project. Very different than what's been done before here. So, but then I guess the germs come from there. Jarasi wahan se inherit hue. And I would love, like you put it so eloquently, I want to make my mark. Everybody has a starting point in life, and I believe it's what you do with it. I mean, I could be very easily, alhamdulillah, sitting at a coffee party and enjoying myself, but that's just not me. I wanted to create my own baby, my own projects, my own legacy. And that's one of the reasons I serve now on several boards, which have nothing to do with anything to do with my family, besides my baby companies that I have. I have made it to my first federal board as well under the Ministry of Industry, and we just had a meeting day before yesterday for that. It's the Pakistan Institute of Management, and I hope I'm put on more serious boards, and women are finally given a chance to represent ourselves on these boards. And I hope that there is a ripple effect and we can change so that more women are put into these roles. And your dynamics changes. I sit on a board of a terminal, I sit on a board of a textile, and then I do philanthropy work. So I sit on the board of Special Olympics Pakistan. So I believe that we can only do this by change. And I really hope, because I was invited honestly by the US government on a reunion to Sri Lanka it was last year. And there were a lot of Indian women because it was a regional reunion. And you know what the women said to me? They said, Farah, we don't even look at a company with respect if they don't have 3 women on a board. I said, darlings, we're fighting for 1. And even that has not been compliant. So that's people from our subcontinent. That's people who we were part of.
Exactly.
And they're oscillating at another wavelength. The CEO of Pepsi, the women in world over, Indian women that are running successful multinational corporations, we've got big feet, big feet to follow in and fill to create our mark. And I think we're doing it, but at a very, very slow pace, unfortunately.
No, I would agree with you. But again, when there's women like you who've been there and who are making a name, I think you serve as a great inspiration for other women, especially the ones who are in university, because then again, that's where you actually get to see and network. And I think you've been a great example for women empowerment.
No,
so we hope to see in the next few years that a lot of women are actually able to make paths for themselves and lead like yourself.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can inspire one person, because I really believe that we're beyond that stage where a single income house can sustain itself. And I feel it is very imperative for women to continue working even after they get married or they have children, because you have to create your own self and your own identity. And for me, I have been able to do it through my work. And I think it's just the beginning. Like I said, it's my first federal board and it's a small one, but hopefully it will open doors.
Okay.
And like yesterday in the meeting, we were having a discussion and they offered me HR to be chairperson of HR. I said, I don't want it. And they're like, Q. Then I told them my background. I said, no, I want strategic planning. Give HR to a guy. And eventually they're like, okay, madam, you can have it. But I was like, I'm not taking this typical stereotyping behavior anymore because it's not on.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to accept it. And I'm not going to sort of dim my light for anybody. I've done that and you can deal with all I am. And that's just about it.
So standing your ground is what one must do.
Absolutely. And obviously, you have to stay humble. Very, very important. I have noticed a lot of people, they lose it without thoda sa unko kuch milta hai. Even the men, I'm sorry, little achievement and they've got this chip. If you're going to do that, then that's you've peaked.
Yeah.
You can't afford to do that.
Absolutely, you're right. Because when you have ego, you kind of fall.
Goro mein aap dekhe, the higher they get humble. In us, the higher we get, thoda sa, and we get takabbur. And God doesn't like that. That's just a bad taste in the mouth.
That is so true. And I think everyone should just maintain their self and be grounded in order to reach even higher levels of success.
Because he can bring you down in 1 second.
Exactly.
And it'll all be over. And then what happens? And that's what happens. A lot of people, when वो कहते हैं ना पाकिस्तान में गद्दी से हटाने के बाद, they realize their real worth, who your true friends are.
Exactly.
And that happens whether it's retirement or whether it's the end of your cycle. It happens to all of us.
Absolutely.
But the beauty of that time is you know who your real friends are.
Yeah.
So it teaches you a lot more.
True.
And we need that. We need that to become, a very, very rudimentary example, which I love still quoting, is a koila diamond maar kha ke banta hai.
Gee,
There are no
yes.
free lunches.
Yeah.
So you have to go through the burning process.
Exactly.
You have to shed your own skin to come back up. And that's the only way.
You have a very beautiful way of putting things. I
It's
feel
very
like
exciting.
it's nice to get that type of perspective as well. And it's just beautiful the way you put yourself and you're so grounded, even having achieved so much on international platforms and having worked in different industries, and it's lovely. Let's lead on to our other segment, which is a rapid fire.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you quick questions, and
Sure.
whatever comes to your mind first, you just let me know. Okay. So are you a morning person or a night owl?
Actually both.
Okay, endless energy bomb.
Not endless energy.
Okay.
It takes a couple of days to tear me down. But yeah.
Okay.
So you work out and you exercise because that's very important.
Absolutely.
And you maintain yourself. Maybe not as a weight point of view, but as a health point of view.
Yeah.
You need muscle retention and you need to do that. And I think that needs to change. We need to really give our bodies that workout and that relaxation that it needs. We need to balance it.
Absolutely.
So we can go for the long haul and you don't burn out.
Exactly.
So
Tea or coffee?
tea.
Tea.
Paki
okay.
hui chai.
Paki hui chai.
100%.
Desi chai.
Absolutely. I travel with my tapal. That bad.
Love the brand loyalty there.
Actually, the strength. It will be 2 tea bags.
Yeah.
Anywhere I'm in the world, I need that. Morning has to be that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's your morning ritual.
Oh, has to be.
All right. One book or podcast you would recommend to anyone?
So there is not one particular one.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many of them popping up every day. Very interesting one. I was just popped up on my Instagram this morning while I was trying to put some makeup on was about Sharon Stone, a very odd one. and how she rose to the pinnacle of her career, and how she then brain hemorrhaged and was in a bad state for 7 years of recovery, and how her whole life changed with that one woman and that one movie and that one scene, and how it was so controversial, and it turned her life upside down. So, when you listen to, and then how she recreated herself again and rose.
Hence the phoenix.
So they keep popping up. I think the world right now with podcasts and the different things, and when Instagram knows you like a certain genre, they tend to throw more of those at you. So it's really, and it's just surprisingly that it popped up and that I'm talking about it. So a lot is to do with, I believe, destiny.
Exactly.
A lot is written in the stars. If, I've realized that you can only do this much when things are good, and you can only do this much when things are bad. And then the rest is up to God. It's all Allah Kareem.
Really, truly. And one advice you would tell your 21-year-old self?
Hang in there.
Hang in there. Feel like I tell that to
the
myself.
world is
so
not
often.
coming to an end. This is Greenwich and university life and getting good grades. We used to clamor to be on the top of the class, and oh my God, my GPA would fall, and I would be having palpitations, and it's so inconsequential now when you sit at this part of my life.
Yeah.
And then there are certain regrets that, I wish I had paid more attention to Pakistan history, which was used to be the most boring subject to us.
Yeah.
Or, because now you get interested when you grow older in political, sciences and obviously history of Pakistan. And as a child, those subjects used to be like the bane of existence for us, even at school too.
I would agree.
We would run away. And now I wish those I had paid more attention to. So your life scopes change, your analysis changes. What was so important that you got migraines over in that age, and now is oh my God, we were fussing over things that were non-consequential.
Yeah, so true.
Fighting with friends, having issues on stupid things which had no bearing, whatsoever, and then fighting or dosti fir se jud jana, phir pange hona, it was like a whole different, and we had our own little world, and our world rotated around ourselves, and it still does, I guess, to a great degree, but that's how we are. But we're just a little pea in the pod.
Exactly.
And we were the whole world back then. I'm sure you know the feeling.
Yeah,
I can see the glisten in your
relate,
eyes.
And I was like, this is so relatable right now. And again, there's this thing that goes around, is that you must excel in one specific industry, or you must have one path. And given that you yourself have been a part of different industries, what advice would you give to young students like myself who just do not want to limit ourselves to just one specific industry or career path?
Go with your gut. Your intuition, your higher self, as they call it, knows. And things change. And I'm going a little bit towards religion. I feel that we are the most Ashraf al-Makhlukat kehte hain na hame, the most powerful being created on this planet.
True.
I think we can adapt to whatever we put our mind to. I think we can do whatever we really want to. And a lot of different people want us to conform to a lot of different things, but we need to learn what works for us.
Exactly.
And listen to what resonates, and then go on that path. And if you listen to your gut, it knows. You have to. The problem is silencing the mind, and you'll know what direction you need to go, what direction you will be the most happy in. Also, it's not just about this particular thing to make money. Because if you're not going to be good at it, it's no use. If you're not going to do it with your heart, it's not going to work.
I think you'll burn out quickly.
Yeah. And I think parents are realizing that, they used to force that these are the stigmatic roles, doctor banna hai, lawyer banna hai. They have realized that even TikTokers with 1 million followers make more money than those people now. And it's a whole different genre which they don't understand. So some might still pressure for the typical old school, career paths, but so much has changed.
Absolutely.
It's like, I think everybody must be allowed to live their destiny.
True. Very true.
And not try to impose our, feelings and all towards their life path, and let them make their mistakes. We will all make mistakes. We've all done it. You'll all do it. And you will all learn. But as long as, I guess, they're not too life-threatening and detrimental, but I guess parents also feel protective and want to,
Yes.
what is it, collie-cuddle or whatever that phrase is, as much as they can. But we must be allowed to live what we enjoy, because you have to be doing this in most cases, unfortunately, for the rest of your life. So you better love it.
It was wonderful talking to you, because the insight you give, and you were able to connect it so beautifully with the idea of self-perspective with religion, and how it's just one and it's the entire world, and we do whatever we want to do with our gut feeling. And so I think this episode really has to be one of the best ones, because students would get an idea, or whoever's watching will get to know how to live your life and how to excel. So thank you so much, Ms. Farah, for coming over and spending time with us. It was lovely talking to you. And this was our episode today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for another episode of GU Talks.